Oh, well, another week has come to an end. And like everyone before it, I never feel like I got enough done. I always end the week wishing I had gotten more work done. You'd think I would have learned by now. These things take time. I'm not a 40-man crew. I'm alone. I've got my 2 helpers, and they are good helpers. The carries have been incredibly helpful during this whole project. You know, in the beginning, it was a little weird, a little awkward, you know, new. They come in, they've got their ideas. I think I want to do what I want to do, and we had to kind of feel each other out and arrive at a place where we could work together. And man, that was so far in the past, because the way things are going these days, it's like we're like one mind with 3 cogs just working and spinning constantly. It's really, I know it sounds silly to say it, but it's magical. Every morning, 9 o'clock, the door opens, they come in, and we sit down, we have a powwow, we talk about what we're going to do, what's on order, any news from last night, and it really charges us up. That 9 o'clock meeting gets us all charged up. And we have some good days. We have bad days too. We have days where we don't get enough done physically, but what we do is we do a lot of pre-planning. We do a lot of forethought. We do a lot of thinking. And that's really what's needed when you build like this. Every van, well, this is the second van I've built. So every van I've built has been done this way. No plans, no schematics, no diagrams. We're not pulling anything off the shelf. It's all a new invention. Every one of them is a new invention. We got to start from scratch. Now this is totally new because we're also in a different van. Started in a Sprinter, now I'm in the Promaster. So there's a lot of things that are different. And I'm digging it. I like being outside of my comfort zone because that expands, and before you know it, this is in your comfort zone and you can push yourself out a little further. But it's been a really good experience, and I just thought I'd like to say that. I'd like to share that. You're seeing a lot of what the carries do on their channel. If you're not watching, Carry On Vagabond is their YouTube channel, so you got to get over there and watch, because they're beating me to the punch most of the time, because Irene does the shooting, and she does a lot of shooting during the week. I do none, ningundo, zip, zilch. I can't, I'm too busy. I don't have time for lunch. I'll always say, you know, I'm going to eat lunch early today. I'm going to get ahead of lunch today. It's 4 o'clock when I'm saying that. I blew past it again. But I'm busy working, getting this van done. I was 3 months behind on the start date. My bad. I own that. I'm working hard to make it up. So I don't have any time to shoot. I really don't. The last few weeks, what's it been? Friday afternoon. I set up and I get a little talk going. I show you what we've done. I'd like to do more. I'd like to be more creative, tell a better story, have a little fun with it, and I'll get back to that. I took possession of that additional space through those double doors. It's not that much space, but right now I'm glad to have it. After I put up a dividing wall, this will be the cutting room. Very important to include a dust collection system and an air handler. So our floor is locked down nice and tight. We glued and screwed the floor, 1/2-inch ply, beautiful. Nice insulation under it. All the modules will sit on top. Water tank is sitting in place. You can see that in the frame. Just sitting there, as I explained last week, and it's locked in with a pressure fit and our support bars in the galley. Put in my ceiling cleats. I'm going to be running ceiling boards down the center of this van like I did in van 1. I swore I'd never do that again. It was a lot of work. I'm doing it again. But here it's a little bit different. We're going to do a ribbon of wood. What I did, I took all the plywood cutoffs that we weren't going to use, and I ripped it down into 3-inch wide planks, 1/2-inch birch ply, 3 inches wide, put a lap joint on each edge.
The 1/2-inch birch ply is such a beautiful sheet. With a little milling, it's going to be a great material for the ceiling detail.
We're going to make it look like tongue and groove. It's going to be painted white, semi-gloss white. So, I'll put a little chamfer on the leading edge, and it's going to be a nice thin ribbon of wood, tongue and groove, that goes right down the center, front to back.
Since the 1/2-inch material is too thin for tongue and groove, I can work with a lap joint to get the aesthetic just right. While there are several ways to cut a lap joint, here I chose to use my trusty router table. The feather boards help to keep each pass consistent.
It stays behind the ceiling fan and behind the air conditioner. It's not wider than. It stays behind those things. So there's no wood ceiling passing along the sides of the fan. It just passes through it. It's kind of I would call it a 1950s Art Deco cabin look. As you know, we cut the holes for the ceiling fan and the air conditioner.
We put up temporary roof supports inside the van and set up a garbage bag to act as a catch-all hammock for the steel shavings during the cut. I'm using a tiny battery-powered reciprocating saw. I find this to be somewhat more controllable than a jigsaw.
And I put a nice 2x2 support system under it. We glue and screw that to the supports, and then the fan and the air conditioner get screwed into that. So it's a good solid hold for those items, particularly the air conditioner. It's 85 pounds. So you need to put some support up there, not just the sheet metal of the ceiling. And then the ribs that are in the ceiling, that gives the ceiling strength, but we fill in those gaps with some Luan and heavy mass vinyl, and we glue it all together, glue it and screw it. So it's a nice rock solid fit. And then our ceiling is under that. The reason I padded this ceiling down 3/4 of an inch, the only reason I padded it down, is because I needed more depth up there for insulation. These ceiling ribs, the ceiling supports that are in a Promaster, are nowhere near as deep as what you'll find in a Sprinter. In the Sprinter, I put my ceiling right up against the chassis. Here, I had to pad it down so I could get more of my system up there, insulation system. With the 1.5 inches on the floor that we took away with insulation, and this 1.5 inches up here, there's still enough room for Dave to walk around. He's got clearance. We made sure of that time and time again. We even had them sitting on the bed here, making sure they're comfortable, making sure they're not leaning against any window component or hitting their head on a cabinet or anything like that. This is like putting a jacket on at the tailor, and we mark the sleeves, and we're literally fitting the van to the people that are going to live in it.